Okay, this week I want to share my thoughts on the purchasing process, contracts, lawyers, the supply department, paying up front or paying at first clinical use, and life cycle costs. So where do POs come from? Every hospital and healthcare organization does this differently. A big organization will have lots of departments with a lot of people doing this type of work, and in small hospitals, the purchasing, contracts, and supply department might be 2 people working on some old computers near the loading dock. However the hospital is organized, the process remains pretty much the same. See those people in the picture? Those are the stakeholders in the RFP scoring team. They're excited because we have picked the vendor that we're going to use, and we have the list of all the supplies we need to do the project, and everyone is excited to start working on the project, and there's a lot of energy. Oh boy, let's go. Next, we have to buy all the stuff we need to do the project. Here's the good news. You don't have to do that part. Here's the bad news. It takes a long time, and all that enthusiasm for the project is going to be lost. So here's the first step in getting the POs sent out. You're going to have to give your list of supplies you need for the project to someone. Someone works in a department with a name like purchasing or supply acquisition or something like that. They will take your list and they contact the vendor or vendors that you have identified to get all the things for your project. And contracts have to be created. Buying the stuff you need for a project is not like shopping on Amazon. The hospital contracts person will work with the vendor or vendors to draw up the contracts for the supplies you need. Naturally, whenever you have binding legal documents being created, there's going to be lawyers involved. Both the hospital lawyers and the vendor lawyers will review the contracts and hopefully approve them, and this takes time, especially if the lawyers have to go back and forth to agree on the terms of the contract. What are you and that group of project people all doing during this time? You're waiting. You're going about your daily routine, and the project is starting to fade out of your memory. Finally, the POs get sent out. So once the supply contracts have been approved and signed, finally the hospital will send out the purchase orders and the supplies can begin being shipped to the hospital. And you're still waiting. You can't do anything until you get the stuff you need to start the project, so you're just waiting. Eventually your stuff begins to arrive and you could finally get working on your project. And this is like Christmas. Oh boy, all my stuff is here. It's down on the loading dock. I can start unpacking it and get my project going. And it might also be called receiving or the supply department, whatever it's called. Hopefully you're excited when your stuff starts arriving because it means the waiting is over. So, pay up front. Depending on the type of project you're doing, the type of contract that was negotiated, you may pay for the supplies or products when they're delivered. And you personally don't pay anyone. You mark the stuff received and sign for it, and the purchasing department takes care of pending the vendor. That's pay up front. A lot of times, particularly if it's a software product that's going to be used with patients, you'll pay on first clinical use. So, let's say your project is a mammo information system. The contract could be negotiated so that you don't pay when the box of software arrives, but rather when the first real patient gets entered into the system. That would be the first clinical use of the system, and that's the point you would notify purchasing to go ahead and pay the vendor for the software. And I want to talk for just a minute about lifecycle costs. I love the video posted on D2L about lifecycle costs, and I feel it's a very important issue that truly does get overlooked at the start of a project. In the video, the presenter uses a car as a metaphor for the life cycle cost, and the way it was explained to me by a really great project manager was how much does an elephant eat? Every zoo wants to have an elephant exhibit, which is costly to build, and elephants are expensive to acquire, but once you have the elephant in the exhibit space, you still have to feed that elephant. To put numbers on that, if you run a zoo, you can buy an elephant for around $10,000. It costs $80 a day to feed an elephant. So the yearly cost for food is $29,200, which is nearly triple the cost of acquiring the elephant in the first place. Whenever you're going to do a project, make sure you ask, how much is this product going to eat? So let's make that a little more real world. Here's a real world example. How much does a CT machine eat? Obviously, a CT machine does not have a mouth or a stomach, but it does come with continuous operational costs. You have to get and keep it accredited by the ACR. That costs money, and it's going to blow x-ray tubes and have other issues that require regular maintenance, and that's going to cost money. And Just like a car, the longer you keep the CT scanner, the less value it will have when you go to trade it in on a new CT scanner. So it's going to have depreciation. And those are the things I wanted to talk about in week 6. So thank you for watching.